Welcome back, friends. So, whereas the Strait of Hormuz continues to haunt uh, investors and oil prices continue to hold at higher levels, although they have not been super fast in their rise, they still continue in the neighborhood of 110 to 112 on the Brent. Yet you find that they have not come off the cliff either, which is impacting various countries which are great importers, net importers, and China and India included, particularly India. China has got huge reserves, so they have been able to escape. Now, the issue that arises is that when you have so much and such a fast rise in oil prices that has taken place in just over 2 months, why have the uh, why has the impact not come in terms of oil prices rising even more when something like 10 million barrels of oil gets off stream per day just because of the Iran US Israel war? That is, the answer is because there was a lot of floating oil on the seas at the time of the attack. So, a lot of the ships were fully loaded and they were used to be able to, and they were diverted towards wherever the need arose. For example, sanctions on Russian oil was removed. So many Russian tankers were floating around. There was floating oil. They were diverted to countries such as India and other countries which needed oil immediately. Still, the sanctions which are there was a temporary reprieve, and as we understand, there is the Trump administration says that this reprieve will not be continued further. Anyway, I think the main thing that we hear the headlines now is that President Trump has postponed its attack on Iran, and they have done it on the request of three leaders, that is the Qatari Emir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. The other one is the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and the United Arab Emirates President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. So we have these three requesting. There has been no clear indication prior to Trump's post that the US was preparing to strike Iran on Tuesday, officially scrapping its tattered ceasefire with Iran. But Trump had in fact told the New York Post in an interview on Monday that Iran knows what's going to happening soon, yet he was considering resuming active military operations after Tehran's latest response to ongoing negotiation talks over a deal to end the war was deemed to be insufficient. But President currently has, in a Truth Social post, said that he has informed US military leaders that we will not be doing the scheduled attack of Iran tomorrow in light of the requests from all these three important leaders. And they are saying that negotiations are at an active stage, and it is quite possible that some sort of a deal may come through over the next few days. So let's hope for the best. The things to remember as we go forward is that right now there is a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, but as time progresses, there are many countries such as the United Arab Emirates which are trying to find alternative routes to supply oil, and not immediately, both over the next 9 to 12 months, you may find that the relevance of the Strait of Hormuz may diminish to some extent. So, for example, the United Arab Emirates is finding another route to the Fujairah refinery. That's the other route, and that would go to Asia, to India, with which they are making commitment to building strategic petroleum reserves. So all this will reduce to some extent dependence on the Strait of Hormuz, which will be bearish for the prices of oil. Currently, they are holding at high levels. but not as high as I explained because of the huge amount of oil on ships, floating oil, but that is also getting dried up. The important thing is that once you get the headlines that some breakthrough has reached in the negotiations between Iran and the United States, you will see the prices of oil come down. So I think that this is my conjecture that you cannot treat the hike in the prices of oil as being permanent in nature, that there is going to be a turn which will be good for countries which have been most impacted, right? I think one of the countries which has been most impacted, I don't know, keep coming back to it, is India, being one of the biggest importers. And they would be the first to feel relief once this particular negotiation reaches some sort of a fruitful solution, because once the Strait of Hormuz is open, the prices of oil will come down. And once they start coming down, it won't come down in one day. It will take some, it will be a staggered fall. But once they really come down, you will find that India would be one of the prime beneficiaries, and it will augur well for them. It will also be helpful to China, because China would have also depleted a good amount of its strategic petroleum reserves by now. America won't help much because they already have huge amounts of oil. Other countries are also self-sufficient, but these are among the two prime economies. And Indian stock markets would benefit immensely because they have been hit hardest by these oil prices increase, being net importers. China has got all the AI story, AI products and all that. So they have been Alibaba, Tencent, they have risen well. India has not enjoyed the rally as such, you may call it, but they could. So to come back to the price of oil high in the medium to long term, you will find that the Strait of Hormuz may lose its importance, and therefore the rise in the price of oil could get curtailed. As far as the economy is concerned, they could improve, which is right now in shambles in many parts of Asia and Africa. They're facing energy crisis. Countries such as Philippines, Malaysia, even Singapore, facing a huge amount of energy crisis. All that will begin to go away, and we should see a better picture from at least short to medium term. That is my analysis as far as the price of oil goes. Yet there would be one thing that many countries would try to be, because of this West Asia episode, may try to fill its strategic petroleum reserves quickly. So the pressure on the oil will not completely diminish, it will only reduce. So that's my analysis of oil. And if you are watching my video for the first time, do like, subscribe, and do pass my video. We talk about the world economy, commodities, world stock markets. So feel free to pass on my videos to others who would find it relevant, and they can also join our channel and be a beneficiary of all our advice. And to get good predictions of the US markets, you may join our Prime Plus Telegram group. You can do that by WhatsApping us on 732-732-2720. Happy investing and have a great week ahead. Take care. Bye-bye.